Can we talk? Coming up next on Pastor Bob Daly. Hello, my friends. I have two things I wanted to share today. People have been writing in and asking me where I'm at. I'm just getting over pneumonia, actually, at this point, and still a little weak and still a little hard to breathe. But I wanted to at least tell you that I'm okay, and God is faithful. I'm not done yet. And also, I wanted to thank everybody who responded when I wrote about our needs with the homeless ministry. And so many responded, and you got us out of a pretty deep hole because we really needed the finances. And, you know, I love these people on the streets. I love them to death, their family. And there's so many that count on us. I wondered if you've seen this video that we did, another podcast that we do called Voices from the Street, and where we answered a lot of questions, and a lot of people have been writing in questions about the homeless ministry. And if you have a few minutes, would you watch this video? It just kind of explains our hearts and shows you the ministry and the inner workings of it. And again, thank you all who have donated. If you haven't yet and you'd like to, please do. It'd be awesome. Our PayPal address is sales@sanctuaryinternational.com. And I'll put the link here as well. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate your help more than I can tell you. And here's the video.
How did the homeless ministry get started?
Well, about, almost 14 years ago, we started just under the bridge making some sandwiches, simple sandwiches, doing it in my kitchen. I invited my mom and dad to come down to see what I was doing, and then they got hooked. So, Mom, you guys have been doing this also. You've been involved with this for 12, 13 years now, haven't you?
Long time.
Long time, it has been, yes.
How did the homeless ministry grow?
Well, it was really easy for it to grow. Yeah, word of mouth, wasn't it? We started making sandwiches, and pretty soon the sandwiches were not quite enough. Trader Joe's joined us fairly early, and we started getting Trader Joe's food on the weekends, and then it just started growing from there. The need has always been there, and
started making nourishing meals.
yes.
Not just sandwiches.
And I think your cooking had something to do with it too.
Oh, I don't know about that.
She's a good cook, isn't she, Tom?
Yeah, she is.
And I think you made comfort food, nutritious comfort food, and so many of them have said through the years that you make food just like their mom used to make.
Mm-hmm.
So which is why they call you Mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Who does all this work here?
Please. I'm sorry. All of us.
Tom actually started a few years ago eating with us under the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Your life wasn't so good in those days.
No.
He's a totally different guy now. If you knew him then, if you knew him now, he's a different guy, isn't he, Mom? And I don't know what we do without him now. Tom is a full-time employee with this ministry, and basically he pretty much does all the work.
Yeah.
And of course, she's still the boss, isn't she?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And she's still here putting things away and running it and organizing it. But,
That's why when you tell me something, I'll check with Mom.
Yeah. And I'm mostly the administrative part of it these days.
So, what do you guys do on a typical day?
And what do you do every day? What's a typical day like?
Typical day, sir?
Yeah.
Oh, well. We have 4 ministries that they do basically the same thing we do.
Yeah, and we supply them with
And
the
we
food
supply them with all the
Yes.
food that...
for the homeless that they serve.
Yes, sir.
Right.
That's for on Monday, but we have More
We have-
other days.
Yeah, every day we have
Yeah.
somebody coming to get food to serve to the homeless. And then we go to Trader Joe's and pick up the donations for that day, bring them back, unload the truck.
That's a daily thing, isn't it?
Yes, every
Yes.
day.
Every day.
7 days a week we do it.
And how does the ministry prepare the food for the homeless?
We've actually been blessed with some caterers that have joined us as well. That Tom, the food comes in and on some of those steam pans, and we
It's
typically
amazing.
get a lot of them.
It's
Don't we?
amazing the blessing we have. A real good chef in Murfreesboro at the Embassy Suites
Yeah.
that supplies us with a whole lot of food.
Yes.
And then we have a catering company, I think, G Catering or something
Yeah.
like that, that they've joined us now and they're serving food or supplying us with food.
Yes.
But we never know what we're going to have to cook. We
Yeah.
look at what food we have and what meat we
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
and then we decide what we
Me
can
and Mom
cook.
get it going.
And if it's the pans, that goes right here in this big oven behind us. How many pans can you put in this at a time?
18.
18. That's
Yes,
a lot
sir.
of pans. And it takes that many. Yeah, we have a lot of people that we serve. But so some of it we're just reheating. Some of it we have to start from scratch.
Some of it we have to cook.
Yeah.
Depends if we have it or not. But we've been real lucky for the last 32 weeks. All we've done is warmed up until this
Yeah.
weekend just passed. And then we
And
had
then
to cook.
distribute the rest of the food
Yes, sir.
to the other ministries, right?
How do you decide what foods to cook?
It depends upon what we have, how much meat we've gotten, what produce we have. Then we decide what to make.
How do you keep the food and beverages hot?
We have hot boxes, they're called, that the food goes in, keep it hot till we get down there, and then for the coffee,
Well, they're drink containers, but basically just like a hot box.
Yeah.
They keep it hot or cold. So we got it down.
How do you create a family environment under the bridge?
Well, that's the best part. You know, we learned a long time ago that it isn't about food, it's about family. The food is the thing that we have in common, but man, we've made such great friends and just had such a great time with people there. Some of the people we've known for many years. There are new people going in and out. But we try really hard to make it a family time. We start out with prayer. We set a spiritual tone. People can come up and ask questions, and many times do. Sometimes they'll ask us to pray with them, or just need to talk for a while. And Mom, you have a variety of people that approach you as well, don't you? Mm-hmm. There's one girl that's a transvestite that had kind of
Yeah.
befriended you and buys you gifts and
Yeah.
thinks of you as Mom. And then a lot of the women just really need to talk as well as the men with us. So it's really been a great family
and a
time.
lot of them just need a hug.
And that's right. They just need a hug. Yes.
And we have the picnic tables that we set up so they can sit around the tables and
That
talk.
provides that atmosphere. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about the sub table and the free table?
With the giveaway table, we take down any extra food that we have, produce, pastries,
Pre-made salads.
pre-made
just a lot of
salads,
things, yeah.
all that, whatever extra we have, we take down there, and they can take whatever they want. Take it home with them.
And then we also set up a subway table.
Yeah.
And we're able to, after they've been through the line and they've gotten everything else, we open that up, and it's just like going to Subway. They tell us what they want in their big sandwich, their submarine sandwich, and we make them, and then they can take that home, and they have an evening meal then.
And what do you do besides serving food?
We try to supply them with everything we can if we have the donations and the help. Like tents, sleeping bags, little one burner stoves so they can actually heat themselves up something to eat if they have it.
Not only to heat food, but to keep them
To
warm.
keep warm, yeah, they put them in their tents and it actually keeps
Right.
them warm.
We also have been able to distribute these Mylar bags, Tom, that have been
Oh yeah, they're
really important.
Yes.
And they will keep your body warm up to 30 below zero, just with your body heat. And I've had testimonies from so many that actually has meant the difference between life and death for some people.
I've had some of them want them just so they could line the inside of their tent with them because it keeps them that warm.
Absolutely.
It reflects the heat.
Absolutely.
So
How are you financially able to support this?
Well, I guess that's my area. and honestly, I really don't have a good answer for that. It's amazing how God supplies. And you know, we've gotten down, and I don't usually tell these guys that we've gotten down where we have zero. And I will have a little bit of a sleepless night and think, how are we going to pull this off tomorrow? But we always do.
And the next day he shows out, don't he?
Yeah, exactly. You know, one of the things you guys too has been our Facebook friends has been amazing.
It's amazing.
If I put and I hate fundraising, and I don't put anything up there until it's the last minute where we have to have it, and I go, okay, we got to raise some money, and I'll just say, can you help? And people are great with that, and I think if people know that there's a need, they always respond. And so, mostly you guys, it's really been our Facebook friends that have helped to keep all this going.
Yes.
And can I mention also that we're serving, well, with between us, the food that we give to other ministries who are working with us, we're at right around 10,000 meals a month right now, which is huge. Huge. It's amazing.
Now, a lot of people say things like, why don't the homeless get a job? Is there anything you want to comment on things like that?
So I think there's a lot of misconceptions about homelessness, honestly. People say, and I used to be one of them, well, why don't they just get a job and take responsibility for their lives and just get off the streets? Tom, I see you grimacing a little bit because it isn't that easy, is it?
No, it's not. No.
So you hit the streets.
I was in the streets for almost 6 years.
6 years, and it was hard to get off.
Yeah, I fought every day to get off. If you
Yeah.
really want to get off, it's a struggle. Anybody can become homeless. And 90% of the people nowadays are a paycheck away from homeless.
Yes,
That's what's sad.
absolutely.
But, it's a constant battle to try to get, you really have to want to get off the streets and really struggle hard to get off the streets.
And you need help.
Yes, of course, you can't do it by yourself.
Yeah. And the difference, Tom, I think is that there are people who have a support system and some people who don't. If I were to ever lose everything, I have family that would take me in, and I have family that would help. But there are a lot of people who don't have that benefit. They don't have a support net. They don't have people to really help them. Just a little while ago, I spoke to one of the guys that's been eating under the bridge with us for a while. He has a wife and a son, and they just became homeless again today. What do? They have nobody to help them. How do we get them off the street? And this is a family. It's not just if it's just a guy, you can find something.
Yeah.
But this is a wife and a son. And we see these kinds of difficulties all the time. Another thing is affordable housing. Right now, Nashville is one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, and there are other cities that have this problem as well. Because there are so many people moving into Nashville, they've pushed the price of apartments and housing way up. So what used to be affordable is no longer affordable,
Don't exist.
and those homeless people that were in marginal housing are on the streets again. Now, not everybody that we serve is on the street. And I always tell them when they get into a house, they get into an apartment, they get into some kind of marginal housing, there's usually not enough finances for food and to be able to afford it. So they continue to eat with us as well, just so they can stay in some housing. Another aspect of homelessness too is are the people that are struggling emotionally, struggling mentally. They don't have the wherewithal to maybe keep a job or really get to that place, in the first place. And then there are some that just don't quite have the intelligence. Then there are some also who don't like people. and they've chosen to be homeless, and they've been homeless for a long time, and they'll continue to be homeless. And I always thought that most homeless people were like that, and it turns out that very few actually have chosen that life. So it's difficult, though, Tom, when you get on the street to get off of the street.
Oh, yes. It's almost impossible.
You have to have a birth certificate or a driver's license. Chances are they've been stolen. You have to have someone who's willing to give you a job.
A chance, yeah.
And a chance. You have to establish a residence.
And lastly, do you have any last words for closing?
We've gone a very long ways from our humble beginnings, haven't we?
Oh,
Mom?
Lord.
Yeah, we hauled everything in the car, or everything we picked up from Trader Joe's. We hauled in the car.
And we took the back seat out of the car.
We took the back seat out so we'd have
so we
room.
could have more.
Amazing.
And Marvin and I hauled it all.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and then we graduated to a van,
Yes.
and so we could haul more.
And then we built this food building,
Yeah.
which would house more food, which we needed to do. And then well, you'll see the picture now, but we have a fleet now, don't we? Several vehicles. So I just want to say that I appreciate all of you that have helped with this ministry. It takes a lot to keep it going. Those people that have donated monthly, that have a monthly thing going on with PayPal once a month that automatically, brings money into the ministry, has been huge. I can't even tell you. And it's meant so much to me, to all of us, and to the homeless friends under the bridge and in other places that have really benefited by your generosity. So thank you, and don't stop, because we're not going to stop. We're just getting started, aren't we, Mom?
Oh.
Mom, you are 89 this year. And still going strong.
No, not quite.
Her back is difficult sometimes. She has some breathing problems, but she's out here pretty much every day working, and this means a lot to you.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So,
Keep going when we can.
Yes.
As long as we can.
and we're not looking to quit yet, are we, Tom?
Oh, no. We're just getting started.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting started.
So thank you very much. We appreciate your help.